Hello everyone and welcome back to more Root Double Before Crime After Days. In the last episode we stumbled across one of our rescue worker friends who was murdered. Him and a couple other guys were shot up. We don't know who did it. They're probably still down here, but right now, it's, we don't just have to worry about the radiation levels. And with that low voice, the group started walking off again. The group opened the security gate and walked through the connecting passageway. They were totally out of AD. Yes, we used our last of our vials last time, so we have nothing. And they were still in a situation that left no margin for error. It's not just for Tachibana, it's an issue that we need to think about in the next hour. I'm confident we can do it. The last time they took an AD was at 10:16 a.m. They had to find 6 or more AD by the time their effects were off at 11:16. Even though they had just learned that their coworker had died, there was no time to grieve. That was probably why Kazami was putting on such a brave face. Tassi quietly walked over to her and whispered.
Tachibana,
Because she took half of a vial. We found a broken vial. So she only took half a dose, so we don't know if it's only going to last half as long or be half as effective. Tassi and Kazami said this, then broke off in a run down the connecting passageway. But the moment they rounded the corner, everyone came to a dead stop. Oh no. That part of the passageway was partially flooded. A fire hose had been left lying around not too far ahead. Water poured out of it, creating a puddle in the passageway. Tassi pointed to the wall. Part of it had collapsed, most likely due to an explosion. Something that appeared to be disconnected cable jutted out of there, touching the puddle and shooting sparks. Does it really matter? Coincidence. Could something like this really have happened naturally? He thought this for a second, but then chose not to say anything. Darcy stared at the puddle intently. It was about 5 or so meters wide. If one were to get past that, pull the cable out of the puddle, then everyone else could walk through it normally. But the problem was that it was right in front of the curb, meaning there wasn't any room to get a running start. Darcy took some lint out of his pocket and threw it at the puddle as a test. That alone caused fierce sparks to flash. As soon as Gummy said that, words poured out of Watasi's head on instinct. Watasi said those words with a kind of confidence in him. Just with a guitar riff playing. Not only were we pressed for time, but Tachibana and Moribe must be real down after just having lost their squad mate. So I've got to do something myself in order to rally them up. We wanted to get rid of the depressed atmosphere that had taken hold of them, even if it meant braving such a great danger. Watasi forced everyone to move to the edge of the passageway, clearing enough space for him. We're gonna do this. June shouted that once she realized that what Watasi was up to. Watch me, Moribe. Watasi ran right up to the puddle with an initial velocity, a 3-step running start, and jumped. Will it be enough? Pale sparks flew at his feet as soon as he landed. Watasi flinched for a moment, but the shock he was expecting never came. Most likely because the only part of him that landed in the puddle was his soles. They were probably made out of rubber or something. He heard Kazami calling out to him from behind.
Taichou! Daijoubu desu ka?
Ah, daijoubu da. Ima houden o tomete yaru.
Watasi then proceeded to pull the cable out of the puddle.
Sa, minna mou daijoubu da.
いや、ちょっと待ってみんな。まず私から入るから。
June approached the puddle just as Watasi had said and then stepped in it as softly as possibly could. But nothing happened.
いや、大丈夫。平気みたいだよ。ほら、みんなどうぞ。
As soon as they heard that, everyone ran through the puddle and up to Watasi.
隊長さん、危ないことするわね。見てるこっちが怖かったわよ。
もっと冷静なタイプかと思ってたが、そういう一面もあるんだな。
びっくりしたでしょ。うちの隊長は身体能力がとにかく高くてね。記憶があれしてても自分の力は体が覚えてたんだね。さすが隊長。
I'm just that good. The gloom that covered June's face just minutes ago had receded greatly. Watasi breathed a mental sigh of relief and then turned to his thoughts. Was it that face that gave me the confidence to think I could pull that off? Then it appeared it was his courage and willpower that determined whether or not he could act. But unlike everybody else, Kazami's reaction was cold.
褒めるんじゃありません、森部。隊長も何を嬉しそうにしてるんですか？災害の現状は身体能力を披露する場じゃありませんよ。先ほどあんなことがあったというのに。
Though Kazami's tone of voice was composed, and there was a fierce anger behind her words.
すまない。また焦っちまった。
Kazami said nothing and glared at Watasi. The rest of the group watched the proceedings from a distance. Finally, Kazami broke the silence with a sigh.
わかれば良いのです。とはいえ、せっかく隊長が稼いでくれた時間、浪費するのは惜しいです。
Kazami looked away from Watasi in a huff and started walking off.
せっかく頑張ったのに、また怒られちゃったね。
まあ仕方ないさ。立花の言うことももっともだ。
No matter how much strength and courage he had, unless he could make sound decisions, he was merely putting his own life in danger. And that was probably what Kazami was trying to say. Well, it may have gotten me another lecture, but I'm glad that Tachibana and Moribe look like they're feeling better now. Watasi and the others followed Kazami as that thought passed through his head. The group entered Area 4's inner ring on B4B1. What they found there was essentially the spitting image of Area 3, because I think these are all probably identical. June checked her Procyon.
汚染レベル2164ミリシーベルとか。いや、
だったら急がなきゃ。
Before Tasi could say any more, a voice suddenly came out of his PDA. We're here, yes.
先ほど隊長の無事を報告したので、私ではなくそちらに連絡してきたのでしょう。応答してください。
Watasi frantically took his PDA out and replied.
こちら笠崎、勘あり。
The radio waves were clearly in worse condition than they'd been in the earlier call. The commander started relaying orders with what little he could get through.
実はその人が死んで。施設内で3名の死者を発見したんだ。しかも他殺隊だ。その中には堂島隊員も。聞こえるか？堂島隊員と研究員2名の他殺隊を発見したんだ。殺隊？死体には銃創があった。殺人者は外に逃げているかもしれない。施設から出てきた人間の中に銃を持っているやつがいないか調べてくれ。聞こえてるか？繰り返すぞ。 施設から出てきた人間の中に銃を持っている奴がいないか調べてくれ。
銃を調べるんだな。待て。
Seemed he'd managed to get the abnormality of the situation through to the commander.
新状況が悪い。こちらからの伝言を伝える。
The commander went for a change of plan, speaking without waiting for any responses.
ラボ関係者要請。皆さんも中に保護してくれ。
Damn it.
何？
What?
少女の保護を優先的に。
Put priority on protecting the girl, probably.
司令長、聞こえん。繰り返してくれ。
少女だ。
Girl, name.
少女を保護しろ。
少女保護。有利のことだな。
頼むカサ。立花や森部と協力。
協力して要救助者を助けろってんだな。
Tassi glanced at Kazami and June, and both gave him deep nods.
分かった。任せろ。
The transmission cut there. Tassi put his PDA away and turned to the rest of the group.
みんな聞いたか、今の通信。
言うまでもないことです。早速第4エリアの捜索を行いましょう。
ねえ浮田さん、ここはどんなエリアなの？
ああ、ここは電子計算機棟と呼ばれているエリアだ。情報処理を主に扱っている部署で、ブレインセルというスーパーコンピューターがある。
That's neat.
スーパーコンピューター。それはどこに？
筐体そのものは外周棟にあるが、制御はこの内周棟から行う。こっちだ。ついてきてくれ。
The group trailed behind Yukida as he led the way. He guided them to a nearby door that read System Control Room. Ooh, that looks fancy. As soon as he opened the door, the sight of giant screens built into the walls flooded their eyes. Vast amounts of what appeared to be data flickered on and off at dizzying speeds.
なんか作戦司令本部って感じだね。
これはどういう機械なの？
ああ、ブレインセルはこのラボで扱っている全情報を一括処理しているんだ。
全情報っていうとどこからどこまでのことを言うんだ？
実験データの解析演算から電力、照明、空調、上下水道などのインフラシステムの処理まで全てだよ。ケース N 中でもしかりだ。こちらの数字を見てくれ。
Yukida pointed to some numbers on the edge of the screen. The time 1816 and the number 14,581 MSB were sitting there side by side.
18時16分というのが核壁が解放される予想時刻だ。
Okay.
あとざっと8時間か。
That's way too long.
司令長の説明と大体一致するみたいだね。
うん。現在うちの技術者たちが地上からシステム復旧作業を行っているという話だが、そのデータを分析し、復旧作業が終わって核壁が解放されるであろう時刻を算出しているんだ。
And there's no way we can't manipulate this thing to open it earlier?
予想時刻より早く核壁が解放される可能性はあるの？
うん、難しいだろう。復旧に必要な処理の大半はブレインセルが自ら行っている。そのブレインセル自身が予想した時刻だ。人為的ミスなどで遅くなることはあっても早くなるとは思えん。
Darn.
そうか。じゃあこっちの14,581ミリシーベルトっていう数字は？
Probably what it's like in their nuclear reactor.
それは
Yukida hesitated for a moment before he spoke.
N エリアの放射線量だ。
Yeah, I thought as much.
何？ N エリアはここまで汚染が進んで。
Watasi shuddered. He thought that nearly 15,000 MSV of radiation was floating around the area and left him unable to even breathe. It was a land of death, where even a single step would most likely cost one their life.
N エリアの線量計はどうやらまだ生きているみたいだね。むしろ知らない方が良かったかもしれないが。
いや、知っておくに越したことはないだろう。N エリアのヤバさを認識しとくのは必要だ。
Well, I don't think we're going in there anytime soon. If ever.
そうか。そこがこのラボの象の足だね。
Oh, elephant foot. If you guys don't know what that is, you can Google a picture of an elephant foot. It was like this gigantic glob of radiation from, I think, Chernobyl, I believe is where it was from. And it was so bad in there, people could not even step foot in there. Even robots tried to go in there, but eventually, even like the robots would like malfunction and not work. It was ridiculous. Actually, let's see. Check the tips here. Terminology right here. Solidified lava-like lump of radioactive material like uranium and plutonium mixed with molten concrete that still silently exists within the hastily built sarcophagus surrounding the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Basically, when that thing went nuclear, what they did was they decided to make a gigantic concrete area around it to keep the radiation at bay. The elephant's foot, named after its odd shape, still emits large amounts of radiation today. It is even said those who got within eyeshot of the elephant's foot weren't able to escape death from acute radiation exposure. That's crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Okay.
象の足？
チェルノブイリ原発事故の時に最も放射線量が高かった場所だよ。最大線量が約8万ミリシーベルト。そこに近づいた人間はほんの数秒で死んだって言われている。
Can you imagine dying in just a matter of seconds from that? That is ridiculous. It was at 80,000. This is at 14, almost 15,000. So, you know, about a fifth as strong.
それに比べれば今回のはまだマシだけど。
It's still highly fatal, don't get me wrong.
N エリアに入ったらただじゃ済まないってのは間違いないだろうな。
Yeah. The difference between 15,000 and 80,000 didn't mean a whole lot when it came to radiation. They were both still extremely lethal doses. Both Chernobyl and Labo were crazy worlds where abnormal levels of radiation flew around freely.
ともかくこんな最悪の状況下でもブレインセルが生きててくれたのは良かった。セキュリティゲートの開閉もここで行っている。これが壊れると捜索もままならないからな。
Oh, gotta make sure this thing stays online.
ゲートの開放も？ということは核壁の開閉についてはここから操作できませんか？
Let me guess, that's impossible. Really? No one else thought of this?
浮田さん、できそうか？
わからんが
He doesn't
かけてみる
know.
価値はありそうだ。
Well, I certainly hope so. I want to get the hell out of here. You could have walked through the control booth and spoke.
ここは僕に任せ、君らは捜索を続けてくれ。全員でここにいる意味はないからな。
I don't know, man.
よし、それじゃあ俺たちはその間に第4エリアの捜索をしておこう。
That's true. I mean, we do need 80, so we gotta hurry up.
ええ。お願いするわよ、浮田さん。
Don't screw up. We need you. The group left Yukita behind and exited the system control room. As soon as they left, Kazami addressed the others.
では、また二手に分かれましょう。
Okay.
メンバー分けは？
まず、ユーリさんは私と一緒に行動しましょう。とはいえ、ほとんど何もしなくていいですからね。安全確実な状況でのみ、捜索を手伝ってくだされば結構です。
Yuri obediently nodded her head.
じゃあ残りは私のチームだね。
ああ。
確かにこれならバランスが良さそうね。では我々がここ地下1階を捜索するので、そちらのチームは地下2階をお願いします。
おう、きっとすぐ AD を見つけてお前に渡してやるからな。
We don't have. We need some.
お願いします。
With those words serving as a signal to all of them, the groups then split up to begin their search. Watasi, Jun, and Ina quickly went to the stairwell so they could get down to B2, but the emergency staircase had completely collapsed.
これじゃ降りられない。
レスキュー隊の私らはともかく、椿山さんがここを降りるのは危険だね。
Yeah, I agree.
外周塔にも非常階段があるはずだわ。そっちから降りましょう。
Everyone nodded at Ina's suggestion and left the room. Then they hurried over to the unrigged stairwell. Fortunately, the stairs were still intact.
よし、こっちから降りられそうよ。
Good job, Ina. But To be accurate, the stairs weren't totally in one piece. The ones that led to the surface had been destroyed, leaving only the B1 to B2 staircase
し
intact.
かしなんであちこち階段が壊れちまってるんだ。
今は気にしてもあんま意味ないよ。どの道あの階段を上がった先には隔壁があるんだから。地上に続く階段で無事なのは第2エリアのやつだけだね。
The group descended the staircase as they talked. However, Otasi twitched as soon as he began walking
な
down.
んか熱くないか。
そういえばこれ下燃えてるね。
Another fire. June reached the final step as soon as she said that. On the other side of the door was 4B2. They could feel heat and hear some sort of bursting sound coming from it. Watasi checked the door with PDART scanner just to be safe, only to find that the fireproof door was bright red, meaning it's very hot.
待て。俺が開ける。
Watasi said that and nervously opened the door. Whoa. A hot wind blew in his face the moment he opened it.
予想以上だな。
これは副隊長を呼んでこなきゃ消化できそうにない。
But at that moment, a strange sound rang out as though it were trying to cut off June.
何の音だ。
プロキオンの警告音だよ。
Uh-oh. Watasi dumbfoundedly took his Procreon out. The reading was 4,331 MSV, past the first danger standard.
なんで急に数値が。ここは汚染が激しいのか。
まずいわ、逃げましょう。
待って、この程度なら AD があれば問題ない数値のはずだよ。
そうだったらこの火を消して。
He looked out into the fire at that moment, and when she did, her eyes suddenly widened.
どうした。
Watasi followed Ina's somewhat astonished gaze. What he found was a girl standing on the other side of the flames.
三宮さん。
Watasi recognized that name. Luis Yui Sanomiya. That was the name of one of Ina's students who'd possibly been trapped in Labo. If she doesn't move, those flames are gonna eat her alive.
君、大丈夫。
Luis didn't answer his calls. She just gave him a sharp look that almost looked like a glare.
落ち着け。そんなに警戒しなくていい。俺たちは君を助けに来たんだ。それよりここは汚染が激しいんだ。AD を被爆防止剤を打たなければ。
I don't know. Yeah, we'll go up a little bit. We don't have an AD2 injector, that's a problem. But as he said that, the girl turned around and ran off.
なんで逃げるの？
わからんが、とにかく追うぞ。
了解。
私も。
椿山さんはダメ。私らだけで行く。
Once June said that, she and Watasi went dashing off at the same time. The girl was nimbly weaving her way through the gaps between the flames as she ran.
レイズちゃん、どうして逃げるのさ。
Despite June's shouts, the girl didn't stop running. The entrance to the inner ring connecting passageway came into view. The girl took a card out and slid into the slot. She then ran through the now open gate and disappeared behind it. She has a card? Where did she ever find one? The gate soon started to close.
待て待て待て。
Watasi and June made a mad dash through the gate. There were no signs of a fire in the connecting passageway, but they couldn't see the girl anymore. She'd probably run off to the inner ring.
おお、火がこっちに回らないうちに。
Just as June was saying this, the Procreon's alarm grew even louder. June looked at the Procreon in surprise. It read,
1307ミリシーベルト。
whoa, 9,000? Oh man, that was double last one, and that was the highest one yet.
おいおい、勘弁してくれよ。
We're not gonna last long down here. The number was past the second danger standard, Kazami's explanation that suddenly echoed in Watasi's head. Our lives are at great risk even with AD. In fact, that the alarm had gone off as soon as they'd gone through the connecting passageway meant all the areas in the inner ring are probably contaminated. Why do... I don't need to do anything here. But he didn't have time to hesitate. The girl was being constantly bathed in high-level radiation while they were standing around.
行こう隊長あの子を放っておけない
Because you wouldn't know, because it'd be like invisible. So you wouldn't know if something had higher radiation or not, if not for those things. So she didn't know what she was getting into, running around and all this high radiation stuff. The fact that she's still alive is probably pretty impressive, but I don't know. She spoke in a clear voice as though she were trying to cheer herself up. But Watasi, afraid of the radiation exposure, hesitated.
怖いのは私も同じだってでも行かなきゃ
しかし
I don't know.
隊長のヘタレ分かったよ私一人でも行く
Those words finally snapped Watasi out of it.
いや俺も行く
Watasi broke off into a run, doing his best to catch up to June. They exited the connecting passageway and entered the inner ring.
隊長はそっちを
June then proceeded to run off towards the right.
おう
Watasi took off in the other direction, looking for the girl. The alarm was getting louder and louder. Watasi suddenly felt a headache from the repeated echo of that sound. No, it's not because of that alarm. Are these the effects of the radiation? It didn't stop with his headache, he also felt like his skin was going numb. Despite all that, Watasi continued to run around in search of the girl. Just then. There she is! He saw the girl approaching the Area 5 connecting passageway. If she went through the gate, he wouldn't be able to keep chasing her.
待て頼む
Damn it. Watasi desperately called out to her, but she just kept running. However, there was something off about the way she did so. Watasi looked closer and noticed that there was a bandage wrapped around her upper arm. She got hurt? And that only proved that he had to bring her under his protection as soon as possible. Watasi ignored his headache and tried to chase after her when...
よせその子を追うな
What? A voice echoed in his head.
止まれ彼女を追うんじゃない
No. Don't tell me what to do. It was the same voice he heard in his head when he tried to save Yuri. But now it's trying to stop him from rescuing the girl.
うるせえ黙れ
Watasi shook off that voice and chased after the girl. But a second later, the pain in his head suddenly magnified. Watasi instinctively leaned against the wall. What's happening? A light shone in front of his eyes at the same time his vision was rapidly devoured into darkness. And with that, his consciousness faded. Oh good, I'm glad I didn't get a game over there. I was worried. You know what, we're going to continue this next time because we got to save that girl. Maybe, I don't know. We're in super high deadly radiation levels right now. Our clock is ticking very quickly. So, are we alive? Are we dead? I don't know. We're going to find out next time on more Root Double. Take it easy, guys.